Welcome, team, to the Deliberate Discomfort live stream. As always, we like to just come and tell stories, enjoy conversations with each other, really get ready for the next week. And honestly, I'm looking at Jason Van Camp right now, and I've got some solid vibes of Santa Claus coming out. I don't know if anybody else is seeing that. John, are we seeing this today? Are you feeling my vibe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you've ever seen Klaus, Klaus cartoon, but it's all about kind of the origins of Santa Claus. Yeah, Jason's rocking that vibe.
Jason is rocking the origins. I don't have the light beard, so I'm not there. It's a yet thing though. Maybe I'll just have to just ferment it. Maybe one of these days I'll have to just ferment my beard just to look like Santa Claus. I bet my kid would like it. I think that'd be kind of fun. Well, welcome everybody to the live stream today. We've got a bunch of guests here today. One to celebrate, actually two to celebrate, and one to hear their story. But before getting into all of it, I want to go to John really quick because John, I mean, we haven't seen you in like 3 weeks. We have a Men Talking Mindfulness topic on sex and relationship coming up in the next, hour and a half. Men Talking Mindfulness, is this a thing? Like you obviously have been the mindful, kind of guru in the application. Is this something that you're diving even deeper into nowadays? Tell us about kind of your piece on mindfulness.
Mission 60 meets Dr. Ruth. That's what this is.
Yeah, I wasn't sure we would go down this path, but yeah, I've partnered with a buddy of mine, and we started with a little fun side project, kind of an Instagram TV thing where we were doing just him as a hippie from New York and me as a former special operator, both talking mindfulness. Now hippie, yeah. Soon to have the man bun. I'm working on it. But yeah, it's grown into something where we're starting to positively affect people's lives, where we're opening up the practices of meditation and then living mindfully to primarily we're trying to break it down for men, but we have great female listeners, but basically break down the stigmas that surround that, and then talking about topics that can be benefited by living mindfully and practicing meditation, one of which is sex and relationships. So yeah, we're going to go live at 1:30 the next hour on LinkedIn and Facebook and everything else. So
that's awesome.
If you're feeling a little squirrely, join us.
I will say mindfulness, especially with regards to my relationships in my life, it's had the biggest impact, especially with my wife, being able to be mindful when we are or have, higher activation kinds of conversations. We get into the stuff that really matters, and sometimes we can get a little bit too activated, to say the least, and we're just got a lot of energy in the room, and sometimes things can just be said. We all have been there, right, in the fights. But to be able to actually with my wife be like, let's take a pause and be mindful of this moment, and then come ground and then kind of move forward with it. I think it's so impactful. Has been a great tool to use in our relationship. So thank you for bringing up the topic. Thanks for being the person to do that. I think it needs to be said. So I really appreciate it. Jason, pleasure, man, what are you up to today? You've been throwing out some Mr. Spectaculars like it's nothing on social media. What are you up to nowadays? And what's your physical regimen look like, after the challenge has ended?
We're doing the Endless Six. That's what we're doing now. And Dave Hageman puts out an amazing workout program as part of the Endless Six. And he wants us to post videos of us working out on the Endless Six private Facebook group. And so I know I do my best to try to post those. So after I do the workout, I'll do an extra set and I'll kind of video myself doing it to post and maybe inspire some folks to sign up for the Endless Six. It's an incredible program. What's been going on lately? Last week, we had a big team building event in Fairfield, Utah with a group of 60 entrepreneurs. It was amazing. We did, weapons range with all sorts of weapon systems.
Wasn't there a flamethrower there? I heard I was supposed to be there, but I had to go on vacation, unfortunately. I really would have been a part of this one, but wasn't there a flamethrower? I heard about it.
Yeah, I actually just beat you to that, man. There's a flamethrower range. We had a dog range. Our dog handling kind of event where we had guys get in their blower suits and take a jog and take a sprint, and dogs would come take them down. That was fun. We had a CQB shootouts with Joe Cerna. We had combatives with Jeff Adams. We had a vulnerability panel with all those guys. It was awesome. And then this week, I just got back middle of the night from Virginia. Went out there for leadership presentation, LPD, Leader Professional Development with TRADOC, with Boyce Buckner's, Lieutenant Colonel Buckner's aviation battalion. So it was awesome. It's a great time.
Wow. Got to be a complete honor to work with those individuals, high performing people. Do you see the same thing?
Oh, no doubt. It was an amazing time. 4-star General Funk was there, and he gave a kind of a wrap up after I was done, and he's an incredible individual, and hopefully we can do some more in the future.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing where this all goes, as we all are, I think. But I want to get to the real stories, the people who are going through this challenge, and I want to bring on our first guest today. Let's go ahead and bring on Noah Nasser, if you would jump on here. And I look at your background, I see the Marine garb, I see you look good, number one. Your space looked good, number two. I mean, I'm just trying to achieve your kind of beard. That little gray right there is looking real sweet, if you ask me. Noah, how's your day today, buddy? What are you up to? What's good in your neighborhood?
So Nate, you didn't tell me I was going to say anything on this. I thought I was just going to.
No, you just got to sit here and listen, man. If that's going to be the thing you do, that's okay.
No, this is my COVID beard. I just up until a year ago, I had no beard. My goal is to get a Jason quality beard, though.
I'm still working on it too, buddy.
Divorced if I do it, because my wife just doesn't like this thing at all. I did this program because I spent the first 3 months of this year sitting on a couch, feeling sorry for myself, eating pizza. I put on the COVID 25. It was the lowest I've ever felt in my life. Just feeling horrible for no reason, just depressed. And, in March, I started to realize that I needed to make some changes, and I started eating a little healthier and trying to work out, but I needed something to focus. And for some reason, I never do this. I don't go on social media. I hate social media, which is why I had to ask for instructions on how to log into this thing. And I was on social media feeling worse about myself because, everybody on social media has a perfect life. And the ad for tell me Facebook's not stalking me, right? So the ad
it is. Don't worry. Let's just all say it right now. Facebook is stalking you. Technology
for the deliberate discomfort thing came up.
Yeah.
And it piqued my interest mostly because I recognized the location that it was filmed at. And there are all these kind of snarky comments like, how did Jason Van Camp get there in a suit? Because there's a sign just outside that place that says, giant sucking mud will, suck you down to the bottom of the Great
No
Salt.
suits allowed.
Yeah. So I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? I'll just give it a shot. What the hell? And my wife and I actually signed up at the same time. It's made a huge difference in my life. I haven't lost a pound, by the way.
You got growth mindset, but you're exchanging. Right?
Well, I'm growing.
It's called exchange rate, where you go fat to muscle. Exchange.
The physical side's been amazing, but the most impactful thing for me has been the meditations. I don't do that. It's not my bag. Evidently I do now. Every day. Changed my entire outlook.
Is it the sultry sounds of John McCaskill? Is it the content? Like, what is it about this mindfulness program that you're working through?
At the risk of having Navy SEALs and Green Berets come hunt me down, your voice is like grating, dude. When I first did the 2 minutes, I'm like, there's no way in hell I can listen.
Can't do it.
Every day for the next 60 days, I'll go mad. And now, God, it's like you're my best friend. I'm just like,
it's like Jeff Adams last week.
Imagine like breath filling your lungs, and I can't get through a morning kind of without it. So I wear this stupid thing called an Aura ring. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it,
Yeah.
but it's a sleep tracker. I don't know why. You typically know if you've had a good night's sleep, right? But one of the things it tells you is your heart rate, resting heart rate overnight. My resting heart rate overnight for the first 3 months of the year was over 80. I'd go to bed, it would be beating at 110. The low point would be in the 70s, but my average resting heart rate was up in the 80s. In the last 30 days, it's down to 50s.
Okay.
So I'm like the poster child for it. It works, you know.
You haven't lost a pound, but you definitely have lowered your risk for heart disease. That's for
put
sure.
on 2 pounds. But you know, it could also be that you know, I'm finally hitting the gym again and feeling great. And the reading's awesome. I loved your book. I had to read it second because I signed up last minute and it came in. I split my California and Utah. So
what day are you on right now, Noah?
I am on 20. I don't even know, 26, 20, something like that.
Okay, but you got to tell the story of that thing in the background, man. Like that is straight out of, you know, Scooby-Doo Adventures and, you know, the Mask of
Mark 5. Yeah, so I turned 50 this year, and one thing I've always wanted is a Mark 5 diving helmet. I don't know why. I was a scuba instructor in college. I was a salvage diver, and my boss, when I was a kid, he was a commercial diver, dove a Mark V. We had it in a dive shop. And I don't know if you've ever worn one, but the guys who wear those have real grit. That's a scary thing to wear.
Just like an iron cage.
Underwater, you can drop me into zero visibility, cold water all day, every day, no problem. Don't put that on my head. It weighs about 80 pounds. The rest of the suit weighs another couple hundred. I dove, I didn't dive it. I wore one time and I'm like, get this off me.
So you know what would have been creepy is if we were out, and so we went in St. George and did the Ironman down there. I remember being able to see to the kind of the bottom of that lake, and what would have been the creepiest thing in the world is seeing some guy with that on. It was like 52 degree, you know, water. I was freezing. Like I was like, this is good. Like I'm fine with this. It got really cold. Thank you, Amanda, for the fire, by the way, and the sweatshirt. That helped a lot. But to see that at the bottom, like that was seriously out of my worst nightmare, I think. But it's really cool outside of water. I don't know what it would look like inside water though. Is that what your background is, Noah? Is diving? I mean, what does that look like? Your kind of your professional and maybe even your hobby. Was that a hobby? Was that, you know, for your profession?
Yeah,
what does that look like?
I paid for college on my own, and I did it. I love scuba diving. I started diving when I was about 14 with my dad. I thought I was going to go into the Navy. I made the mistake of showing up during plebe summer at Annapolis, and I saw, you know, 100 guys trying to climb a greased pole, and I looked at my dad, and my dad looked at me, and he goes, "This is not the place for you." So I went to the University of California, San Diego as a molecular biologist, and I got thrown out of NROTC. I probably shouldn't tell any of you guys this. So I got tossed out of NROTC for being a smart ass, which is probably fair. The Navy's probably better off without me. But I told my dad I'd pay for college, and so I picked up scuba diving, and I did that. But I'm a molecular biologist by training. And which is not as impressive as it sounds.
I mean, it does sound cool. I'm like wowed over here. Now I gotta ask, like, is there any kind of like expertise tie, right, between molecular biology and what you've been challenged with in this challenge, right? In sport and performance psychology, like my background, like there's always so many ties to my career. In what we do and why we do it. Has there been any ties into, you know, what we're doing in the DD challenge and what you know inside of molecular biology? I mean, just any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed in this challenge is the tactical nature of the advice you give, the guidance, the examples, and that's missing in a lot of leadership thinking today. I'm a prolific reader of leadership books. If you could see the books on the shelves behind me, I've probably read hundreds of them. Because I think if you're going to lead people, you should spend some time honing your craft.
Doing it.
And, you know, so everything from extreme ownership and, you know, the play to win stuff and Simon Sinek, you know, leaders eat last, all that stuff. So I've read all those, and they're great in as far as they go, but they're somewhat subjective. And the thing I've noticed with the material you guys do, so I'm out of the lab. I run a company now. I'm CEO of a company that does immune research out of Santa Barbara.
That sounds cool. Is that cool?
Actually, it's pretty cool.
That sounds cool. Okay.
Just
as long as there's a baseline there.
That, will make an immune map of your COVID response. So turns out people make conserved antibodies to SARS-CoV-2, and we can map those out. We can compare them across a database of 15,000 other people that have been infected and map out the course of disease. It's really profound stuff. But, you know, I lead a team of really diverse people, just both diverse from the perspective of their backgrounds and ethnicities and their values, but also the way they're just wired, right? So a lot of them are scientists, some of them are mathematicians. That's just a different world. And what I found is that the content that you guys have curated and the anecdotes and the conversations, I was just rewatching section 5 of the professional stuff. I skipped ahead. I watched all those videos already, and now I'm going back and watching them again. So section 5 is really, really good. It's the fog of war section, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Joe Cerna, Sarah Spradlin.
Yeah, and I get choked up every time I listen to Joe. It's actually really hard to listen to what he went through. But that chapter 4.2, the content's really tactical, and it gives you really great, if you see this, here's how you behave, which is missing from most leadership canon. It's just not there. So I've learned a tremendous amount in the last, I told you I didn't want to talk, but if you give us
I'm impressed, man. I can let you go all day long. You are clear and concise and to a effective point. Let's bring this up here really quick. Randy Bach is a fan of yours right now. He is an absolute fan, and Randy's looking good in the suit and tie. Randy, you look good in the suit and tie, buddy. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But Mike Gerson says
since COVID.
Me neither. Well, let's be honest, I've never really wore a suit and tie. So, but Mike Gerson, actually a part of the team, Dr. Gerson, chapter 8 scientist. Appreciate you saying that, Noah. Leaders hone their crafts. Hundreds of leadership books are out there about it. And that's what I actually found as well. Like in leadership books, there was a lot of fluff. There was a lot of rah, 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 hoorah kind of stuff. And it's just like, okay, that sounds great, but in application, it does not work. Or you try to put it into application and the context isn't right? Where in books, it's
manage a hard employee? How do you manage an employee that doesn't meet expectations? You guys are the first group that I've heard of that has said, hey, look, here's what happened. People are not going to meet spec at sometimes. And here's how you meet them where they are. And it doesn't have to be this toxic conversation. It can be something that's mutually accretive and helps people be better.
Amanda, what do you think about that? I mean, especially in HR, right? Like you come from an extensive HR background. You've worked with people. I mean, the dealing with people on a daily basis is the same kind of experience that you've had?
Yeah, I think that it's going to depend on the company, but the fact that you're willing to invest in people is huge because people are messy. I mean, just the whole concept of managing people is messy. Yeah.
We've got beards. Stuff can get in them all the time.
We talked a little bit. You guys have total beard obsession today. It's weird. Beard envy,
That's me.
Beard
That's
obsession.
My bad.
John's got men talking mindfulness. I don't know.
Ken, where's your beard?
So
I don't have a beard.
Definitely not getting one now.
Ah, man.
So yes.
Investing in the people.
I've been a part of situations where we put people on programs in order to build certain skills or to improve certain areas. Sometimes it's a matter of it's just not going to be a match. but I think that it's important to invest in people. Absolutely. And especially, I would say, especially green young leaders. They're going to make mistakes. They usually stick to the letter of the law. They're usually kind of harsh on their staff because they don't know how to work in that gray area. So absolutely.
As Jeff and I likes to say, mission first, people always.
Yep.
The rest will follow. And that's actually straight out of the book. I mean, Jason, what are you hearing out of Noah at this point? He says he's not a talker, but if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. At this point, he's given me a mile worth of very productive conversation. My gosh, just to understand your background and where you're coming from. This is really cool. Jason, what are your thoughts?
Man, Noah, great to have you on. And I feel like you're one of us. You know, you fit right in. You definitely could.
Well, if you're up in Heber today, come over. I'm making steaks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in. Oh, wait, whoa.
You got my email address. Shoot me the address and see if you can swing up there, man. That's fantastic. I'd love to get to know you more. You know, I'm a little disappointed that you haven't lost a pound yet. It's kind of shocking to me, man.
Yeah, well, my jacket size went up like 2 notches, though.
Yeah,
your jacket size went up.
Yeah.
It's the Mr. Spectacular, isn't it?
It's the
freaking
Mr. Spectacular.
The house that Hagman built.
Yeah, we got a House that Eggman built T-shirt coming now soon. But no, man, like you know, your body doesn't forget. Like if you were once in shape, if you're once athletic, it's not going to take you that long to get back to it. You know, if you were once you know, a lot stronger, a lot bigger up top, like working out, your muscles will remember that and get to it. Conversely, if you've been a little overweight for a long time, it's going to take you a little longer to get that back. You know what I mean? So, you know, let's work on your nutrition plan. Let's talk offline and see if we can change some things up because what works for somebody doesn't work for another person, you know? And we'll go from there.
True. Noah, we appreciate you. We appreciate your story. It sounds like you and your wife are going through the program right now. How's she holding up?
She's amazing. You know, she's got to modify some of the stuff that she's doing. I mean, she's 5'1" and 100 pounds. And so throwing 25 pounds in a rucksack is tough. But you know, it's one thing when you're 200 pounds and it's 10% of your body weight. It's another thing when you're 100 pounds and it's 25% of your body weight.
I could throw Noah's wife in a rucksack. That's how it's
Well, the downside is she makes me like overstuff mine. So I've been walking around with 50 recently. And I've changed
do what you have to do, right?
Yeah, no, she's kept me on point. I would have given up on the Mr. Spectaculars last week, except she wasn't giving up. So I can't get outworked by my wife. I'm not that woke. I'm just not going to do it. And I got all 100 done. I think it took me over an hour. I'm not going to lie. But I got them done and felt great. And I'm going to bust them out today.
That was one of those where you put, you know, it was like maybe 5 minutes and you did like 15 and you were like, just, yeah. And then your body just totally just gave up. And then it was just a one at a time kind of thing, wasn't it?
No, I did them in blocks of 10. Blocks of 10 were the way to go. I thought you guys were going to try and kill me with the 100 burpees for a Valor workout. And it was a day where I screwed up and I couldn't do them on a Saturday and I did them on a Sunday, which made them a little bit harder. And I was 50 burpees in and thought I saw God. And then
no, that was John McCaskill, bro.
I went, yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Imagine the breath filling your chest. And I went from blocks of 20 to blocks of 10 to blocks of 5 to blocks of 3. And then I thought I miscounted, so I did an extra 10.
Whoops.
Yeah, well,
it's a good thing.
My bad. So,
well, we are stupid proud of you. We're extremely proud of you and your wife, and for doing it together. And as we always say, you know, we're doing it for the people to our left and to our right, and helping each other out and supporting each other. So to have not only the tribe here in the DD Challenge, but also at home, highly effective in accomplishing every mission that we have in front of us. So thank you for being a part of this, Noah. Thank you for being a part of the live stream today. Ken, and any final thoughts for Noah as he moves forward in his mission?
Just include us all on that address for the steaks, man. We'll all be over later on.
Yes.
I'm on them right now. I'll go out to the freezer. I bought a cow earlier this year, so
Nice.
I'll thaw some more.
Well, anytime you want to do brisket, come down to Riverton, and we'll do some smoked brisket. We can definitely do that, buddy.
That's
Thank you,
beyond my
Noah.
skill set, but I'm all in. I just want to say one last thing. Thank you guys all. Changed my life, and I know it sounds silly. 27 days in, you changed my life, but my body's changed. I'm not depressed. I was really in a bad spot, and it's made a huge difference for me. It's made a difference.
You're changing the lives of others too, though. Realize that, like, by your action. So keep focused, stay this course, and we'll see you at the end. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Noah.
Thank you.
With being said, I mean, Noah obviously gonna be at the end at some point in time, and I'm really, really excited about that. Before we get into our next group, though, and a celebration of sorts, I want to kick it to the team, guys. What are you seeing, in the group? Jason, what are your thoughts?
What am I seeing in the group? I'm seeing a lot of winning. I'm seeing a lot of people getting after it every day, waking up, doing hard things, staying the course, putting one foot in front of the other. I see the tribe growing. Even though we have a new class coming in and a class graduating every week, the culture continues. People are helping each other. People have each other's backs. People are posting. People are getting vulnerable. People are putting themselves out there. They're exposing their hearts. They're doing things they never wanted to do. Getting on social media. Waking up early. Sticking to the nutrition plan. Practicing mindfulness, even though they think it's a bunch of BS. And then buying into it. You know what I mean? Like, this is amazing. We just heard Noah. Like, that's a testimonial that we should just give to Nick Palmisano and Diesel Jack and say, turn this into an ad for us. I was saying 26 days in, you changed my life. I'm no longer depressed. I'm getting my body back. I'm getting my edge back. I'm happier. That's what I'm seeing.
Same. I'm absolutely seeing the same, and it's really impressive. Stephen Carney says, still in the forming stage as it relates to the tribe's culture, but it's all about positive reinforcement from him. Vance Thompson saying, it's great hearing from Noah, and I totally agree. I think that's one of the most favorite things about the live stream right now, is just the ability to hear the stories of the people, who are taking this challenge, who are going through it. I mean, Amanda Prince, you were once one of those people. You were the queen herself. You still are the queen herself. And to know your story and even to continue to get to know you more nowadays has been awesome. What's your journey continuing to look like as we move across time here? What does that look like, Amanda?
I actually talked to David Hagman this week. I'm trying to figure out what my physical activity looks like, because Endless Six, I do Endless Six. The physical is still a little intense for my purpose, I guess. So I follow along, but I'm not gonna. It's not a challenge for me. It's not going to be a challenge for me like the 60-day challenge, where I'm just gonna kill myself over doing 100 Mr. Spectaculars before sun up. But I can be like Noah. I can get depressed quickly and easily, and it happens way faster than I'd hope. And so the thing that changed, it's really funny, because people who didn't know what I was doing would make comments like that, where something's different. You look healthier, you look happier. And I find myself, you're home all day long. So most people during COVID were like, I don't want to get out of sweats. I found myself putting on dresses because I felt like it for myself. And, so long term, I'm looking at the group and I watch them get especially nervous about the social calls, and they'll be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then 4 or 5 days in, they're in tears going, I connected with somebody. We talked for 4 hours on the phone. And I'm just seeing people's lives changed. And so when you're done with the challenge, you got to kind of go, how do I want to keep pieces of this? Obviously, I want to keep diving into each domain deeper, but what does this look like sustainably? And I feel like it's kind of ingrained in my life now where every meal I kind of go, okay, so how can I be more mindful when I eat? How can I be more active or in every single way? Or who can I call today that I haven't talked to in a really long time? Or not necessarily about reconciling relationships sometimes, but who do I miss? Even during the challenge, I had people contact me going, can I get on the list? And I'm just like, that's fantastic. Yeah, let's do it. So.
Well, we do have some input here. Dave says, well, if Amanda and Dave Hageman can talk now after all you went through, everyone can get along. So
I wore the Army sweatshirt for 7 days. He better talk to me. 7 days.
That's phenomenal. Well, let's go ahead and bring on our next guest here. Some congratulations are in order for two sisters who have done this this challenge together. Let's bring on Julie and Emily. Julie, Emily, how are you guys doing today? How are you feeling? You both are 6 men at this point. Congratulations. Can we get a woot woot for Emily and Julie at this point? Congratulations, guys.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Julie, I want to start with you really quick. Tell us a little bit about your experience in deliberate discomfort. What's that been like?
Yeah, so I was sort of forced and tricked into doing this by my sister.
Because of her, right? Because of her.
Absolutely. Because of her. So we have like a family group text, and it was, I don't know, probably the end of January, and she sent something to us, and it's like, here's the link to the challenge. And then a couple minutes later, she goes, oops, sorry, wrong group. And so and so we're all like, oh, what is this? What is this? And then I'm reading through it, and you know, it's just everything. It's like, it's your fault. If you're not happy, this is, you know, it's your problem. This.
All your fault. That comes up again.
All my faults. And like Noah was just saying, you know, he was a bit depressed beforehand. I was just fresh off a COVID healing sesh, and was just kind of going through some life changes. And I was like, you know what? It is my fault. Like I need something to have like a swift kick in the booty to get my to get the juices flowing again. So it was a good mistake, Em. I don't know if you actually did that on purpose or by accident.
Okay, we gotta clear it up though. Right now, Emily, was that a purposeful accidental comment? No, that was purposeful.
So,
no.
Well, so I actually meant to send it to girlfriends and Owen Mackenzie's. So I meant to send it to my two girlfriends, and I accidentally sent it to the fam damily is our text message group.
My name.
Yeah, Julie. And so so I was like, oh crap, I sent it, and then I'm like, oh well, maybe Julie will like it, and then mom and dad will be like, fine, whatever. And then Julie messaged back privately, and like, okay, are you doing this? Like, oh, I'm kind of kicking it forth. I too need this kick in the booty, and so my girlfriends were both like, oh, maybe not. One signed up, and then she backed out. She's just going through life stuff, and she just dedicated for it. So
it just goes to prove that family's like way better than friends sometimes. Friends can be way better than family sometimes, but in this case, Julie, you won out with the family. Get one tip to the family mode.
Absolutely.
All right, who's the little one, Emily? That even proves that you're even more of a bad A than anybody else. Being a parent of a little one like that, who's that?
So that's Mackenzie. So she was the one that. Can you say hi?
Hi, Mackenzie. Oh, she's cute.
She's my workout partner, so she's the one that I would throw in my baby carrier and then zip tie weights to it on ruck days.
That's your ruck buddy, isn't it? You throw her in the ruck now.
Just being okay. Well, I can't. She won't hike with my husband and that's when I asked, and I think John responded. I was like, all right, we need a baby carrier because she can't see over his shoulders in the baby carrier, and so she get all pissed off and angry. Julie took her one day, and she's like, mad. So then she leans to the side, so then movement the entire way. So that I'm her weight or whatever. But thank you, love bug. She just.
She's
Yeah.
dang cute. I am like, I'm dying over it. I've got my own little one. I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they are effectively toddlers at this point. And oh my gosh, to have them on the runs have been a lot of fun. Guys, I kind of want to open it up to everybody on the call. Anybody have anything that they want to know about Emily and Julie? Anybody on the live stream, if you guys are commenting, go ahead, throw any questions up there. I want to know more about you guys, but I want to kick to the group first. Ken, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thinking about this like sort of as a question because you guys said, it was sort of accidental, right? Like you accidentally said it to your family and you're like, my dad might not go for it, things like that. What would you say, like either one of you or both of you maybe, what would you say to the dads out there or the other like family groups that might like laugh at something like this at first, but really turn into a Julie shearing, at the end of the day and say, you know what, I really think this was great.
Did anybody else see that face that Julie just made? She was like,
I love that.
Snap. Yeah, I got this. I'm a Julie.
I'm Julie. So I'm really interested in what you guys think about that. Like, what would you say to somebody like that?
Go, Julie.
Well, it's a good question. I think when Em and I first started doing this, not that the family teased us a little bit, but I think a lot of them would be like, oh, well, like the girls have to go do their workouts or the girls need to go do their reading or whatever it was. Like, I would chalk it up to jealousy, but right. But I think it was really cool for them to see us do it. I think it was a pretty ambitious task to take on, and I
that was an ambitious task, period.
But I mean, like they've especially our parents, they've always been nothing but supportive. But I think that's at the end of the day, they were kind of like, wow, you guys did 60 days of all that on top of working, raising a child, all sorts of other like normal life tasks. So I think just kind of doing by leading was really impactful. I know also for my brother-in-law and my partner and stuff. I mean, I think they were also pretty impressed that getting up super early in the morning after maybe a late night out or whatever it was to complete the workout and just do all the tasks of the day. I mean, I've been disciplined. Like we grew up swimming. I swam 4 years in college. I've done the whole thing, but like to have that motivation now as an adult, and I put that in quotes because I don't really fully feel like a functioning adult. It was cool. It was really cool, right? I don't know. Em, do you have any other thoughts that you want to?
Yeah, it was, I think, when I saw this, it actually popped up on my LinkedIn. And Jason, I was looking at your book for when I talked about in my in the mental domain of, giving my medic students a different book to read because I was tired of reading, the same book, them reading the same book over and over. And so from there, I picked, and then it just started popping up on my. So again, if Facebook doesn't hear you, so and then it was like you just move forward, and so it seems like mom and dad really, or mom, I think, would just be like, oh, how's the challenge, or how was the workout today, or just like trying to be supportive, but kind of like, oh, okay, like I want to do something because our dad works out, he goes to the gym 4 days a week, and that's been his big. Once he got prostate cancer, that just turned his life around. He has his thing and we have our thing, a little left out. But I think it's totally doable as a parent. You just have to, figure it out. And I think like everybody has struggled through the first week, and you are definitely fighting the struggle bus. But it gets easier, and I think the tribe definitely out and they're like, hey, we got this one day at a time. Like it's totally doable. So as a parent, yeah, like I saw people posting pictures with their kids on their hikes and runs, like. Shoot, Mackenzie was, I think, let's see, she's now 19 months, so she was 16 months when we started. So the good thing is they grow, so they get heavier with the hike and everything. But in the stroller and everything else, and just being, holy heck, this is heavy. This is far, And then Julie got to experience it too when she'd come out and do the run. I was like, here, push the stroller, see how it goes. And she's like, oh crap.
It was pretty bad. I kept like accidentally leaning on it too much. like I would like put my weight on the stroller, and then the front wheel would kind of whirl out, and then it was just tears and drama.
Jason's been there. Jason, you ever have a wayward stroller? Get a little out of hand on your run.
Oh, it's multiple times every run, and then the blanket falls off the kid and falls under the tire, and then gets wrapped up, and then the tire, unhook that, and then they cry, and then maybe they're fighting. The kids are fighting, or maybe they're hungry. Maybe they want to watch daddy's iPhone for a little bit. Like a million different problems you got to solve when you're doing that. And I'm glad you did that, and I'm proud of you guys. You look fantastic in those 6 men graduate shirts. Looking great. Dan, there's some comments I'm reading here. Yeah, I'd love for you to post. Steve Carney, he's saying, let's see, trying to find it here.
You get to be an athlete again amongst all other responsibilities in life. Would you relate to that, Julie?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that I miss about sports is just the competition aspect of it. And it was kind of fun. So obviously with the child, Emily would get up a lot earlier than I normally would. And so half the time, she'd text me and be like, oh, I just did, the run, and I did this distance, this, that, and the other. And that would just spark this little competitive flame in me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go further today. So it was good. Like, it was really good. Sorry, but it was good to have that fuel under my butt.
And Jeff Adams likes to call that a gym nemesis. You got to have a gym nemesis at some point in time to really motivate you.
And Ken found some of the comments here from Noah, Emily, and Julie. You guys are super inspiring. I'll have to double down on my efforts now. And then Dave Clancy has a comment. Emily and Julie, you have no idea how inspiring you were throughout the 60 days.
So leg days.
Don't
miss out with Dave in his leg days.
And you guys do, and you guys got to know that, like, each and every one of you. And that's why we want the posting. That's why we want to see that stuff, because it's not about you. It's not posting on social media or for your sake. It's to post on social media to show other people what you're going through, to support them. It is about them. It is about sharing, that genuine, authentic hurt and struggle, because you're all doing it together, and to be able to see that and do it for the left and the right. That whole idea, I truly believe it. When I was in college, I was about me. Everything I did was for me. And it never got me very far. Julie, I'm sure you probably knew it, especially in swimming, right? That's a very individual sport, and you were there for your sake and to make your times and to make sure that you did the training. To do it for somebody else has just changed the motivation, has changed my idea of what it is to be human, and to have a happy life. Something that I look forward to for a very long time, continuing to be the athlete, because I fell out of it. I'm sure you did as well. I think everybody goes through that, especially if they were young, athletic, in high school, right? Doing the high school things, or even collegiate, right? But to relate to that identity, I think has been impactful for me throughout this challenge, watching everybody do it and do it together. So thank you for doing it together, Emily, Julie. It's amazing. John McCaskill, any thoughts, any questions that you have for Emily and Julie here today?
Yeah, I just want to know from Julie, with that text accidentally being sent, were there ever times that you were cursing receiving that text during the challenge? And at what point?
Oh, yes, she said.
I'm sure.
40-minute meditation day.
Yeah.
Oh, Amanda, you're killing me, Smalls.
No. Yeah, of course there was some days, and although I will say, like we both live in Southern California, so I think the coldest day I ever had was 55 degrees, and then Amanda goes with the crunchies in her eyelashes and stuff, and I thought,
what was it, -30?
It was 38 below that day.
Oh.
Hey, I will say, it got to 30 degrees and it snowed on one of my runs. I live a little bit further than Julie does. I don't live on the beach. So.
That's literally 70 degrees warmer, man.
I know. Get outside. Up. there's people in full blown winter gear the night before, and I can't explain. So it snowed for 5 seconds at the beginning of a run, and I was like, but it snowed.
In all fairness, last week it was 40, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going out there.
It's too hot.
It comes back just like that.
Yeah, well, now we're contrary, which is why Jason, I was like, can we get some tank tops, because it's suns out, guns out. It's almost 90 here. Like,
look at that
fire.
pride. I don't know did anybody else see that pride? Sun's out. She was like, yes, sun's out, guns out, baby. Like, I want to show this off right now.
In all fairness, I would die in the summer. I mean, I look like a sick Victorian child. We're Midwesterners. They don't let us out. So just melt completely. It's like 82 degrees. We're done.
Yeah. No, it's hot here. It's supposed to be 90, and my poor husband is, like, it's fire season, and it already started. And so I'm like, okay, I love you. I'll see you in December. So, yeah.
So Julie, Emily, I've got to just get real with you here. You know, you guys just finished last week. Is that correct? When did you finish?
We're almost week 2, April 1st.
Okay, so you're 2 weeks.
We're 4 weeks
from finishing. 3 weeks, 4 weeks now.
4.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Endless.
Holy cow, Nate! It's almost May, brother.
What happened? What was the after effect for you guys, and what would you say to those who are now graduating on the continuation, but also dealing with that effect from graduating in the next 2 weeks afterwards, now having gone through it? What would you kind of give as advice, Julie?
Well, the first 3 days that we weren't really on the hook to do anything, I felt like this, like, newly teenager. Like, I was eating what I wanted, I was sleeping in, I was catching up on Netflix. I mean, I just felt all of these really good, skills and competencies that I learned over the 60 days, I just kind of like threw out the window. Like, it was just this newfound freedom. And I woke up Monday morning and I felt awful. Like, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, I felt like all the Easter candy I had just eaten. I mean, it was bad. And I know Em and I kind of, had talked about it, and it was like, why did I just do all this hard work on myself to then just toss it out the window? Like, what was the point of that? And so it was a kind of a crappy, but like a really realistic wake up call to see like how much of a difference the challenge has made. I mean, these 3 wild days I had was like how I typically have lived my life. So it was really interesting to like feel the effects of that. So I continued to, I've gotten in the habit of, I always listen to an Audible book or some kind of audio book while I'm doing the cardio. And so it was like, even if I just went outside for a quick walk, down to the post office, whatever it is, I felt naked, like if I wasn't listening to a book or something. So I really tried to keep up with that. I really tried to keep up with the meditation. I think that was for me, that was like one of the biggest things I learned was just like to be mindful. And so I really tried to keep up with a lot of the things during the kind of 2-week transition, I guess, between the challenge and E6. But it was hard. All of a sudden I'm not getting Jason Van Camp text messages every day. So I have no accountability. So it had to be more like an intrinsic motivation as opposed to the fear of not sending a 6 every day.
The external motivator. Emily, really quickly, any final additions to that advice in the 2 weeks post graduation?
I think Thursday and then Friday, Saturday, I was like, what am I doing with my life? I feel like I just felt lost. And so I think Monday morning on Easter morning, like I loaded up Mackenzie and the Bob and we went for a run because I was like, I can't do this. I have to do something. And so, I'm still trying to wake up early, get the workouts done before she wakes up. I'm trying to do a meditation. I think since we finished, I've read 4 books. I think I'm still trying to do about a book a week. One day I sat down and read Make Your Bed book, and we were on a family vacation last week, and I sat, everyone in the house was still asleep, and I read the entire book in like a 45-minute setting, and it was fantastic. And I was like, okay, I feel accomplished. Like I felt like I could start my day, and so I'm really trying to. It may not be all 6 hours every day, but definitely trying to keep at least 2 a day, and then I'm really enjoying the new master classes and kind of the internal themselves. So me and Jeff Adams, spirit animals. So I really love your guys.
We're a bit ridiculous on those. I apologize.
God, I'm trying to be my. So I appreciate John. I when I'm doing my running or when my daughter is I'll get loud, don't bring her tantrums. I'm like, just breathe.
Sultry tones. Sultry tones.
Yes.
Emily, Julie, I truly thank you both for being a part of this journey, for sharing your stories. We really appreciate it. John, Amanda, Jason, Ken, thank you guys again for always being a part of the live streams and it's continually supporting everybody out there in their missions and in their journeys as well. So Julie, Emily, thank you. Have a great day, and we'll look forward to the continuation of your journey as we move forward. With that being said, we do need to move into a wrap up here. I apologize. I get too involved in these conversations that I just want to hear more. But Ken, what do we got going on for a raffle today? And any final thoughts from Jason? Let's go, Jason. Any final thoughts, and then raffle, please. Go ahead.
Oh man, I'm so proud of Emily and Julie and Noah. These guys, it was a great live stream today with them and their testimonials and just their attitudes, and you can just tell that the Deliver Discomfort Challenge made an impact in their lives, and they're bought in. And it was awesome to see. Totally made my day. And they're inspiring, with their posts. And it makes me want to do more. It makes me want to, and I agree with everything they said. After the challenge was over, you had that cheat meal, and then you think to yourself, oh, maybe Saturday morning I'll take the kids and we'll go get some donuts, and then all of a sudden Sunday hits and you're like, man, I'm ready to go again. I want to start working out again. I don't want to live like this anymore. And that's how the habits are made, So I'd love to hear from Ken and Amanda and John, and then we'll do some giveaways.
Ken, thoughts on the conversation today?
I think back to what Noah said, right, about the difference between what M60 does versus, other leadership type programs or just other programs that are out there in general, right? And I combine that with what Julie said about the statement Jason makes of, it's all your fault, right? And that really is key, because getting to that point, right, where you're taking personal accountability for your life is the only way that real change ever really happens. You know what I mean? Like that's why, like, in all kinds of like self-help programs, things like that, the real key is the person realizing that they need to take responsibility for it. And so that's why, like, I was really happy between Noah and Julie. I think, they both hit the nail on the head in terms of why, M60 Mission 60 really stands out, among all those other programs. So
I'm proud of them for taking responsibility. My gosh, that's a hard thing to do. John, final thoughts on today's conversation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the guests here today, both with Noah still being about halfway through and with Julie and Emily being completed, it's great to have that mix. But what I really enjoy is seeing the comments and seeing those who have graduated, almost 2 months ago now with the class 1. They're still coming back to see what people are doing here in the live stream and in the Deliberate Discomfort Facebook group. There, you go back and you see folks who are in that first class still supporting those who are just getting started or those who are halfway through, and that's just a testament to the power of the tribe that you guys have built. So I love everything about it, and congratulations to those who are wrapping it up soon, and congratulations to those who are getting started soon. So just happy to be a part of this. Thanks.
It's a we thing, brother. It's a we thing. Doing it together, completing the mission. Jason, take it away.
What about Amanda? What's Amanda?
Amanda, thoughts?
Just the transparency. I think that when people are authentic and genuine, it impacts everybody and it encourages people to be authentic and genuine. And that's the difference. I mean, I've seen some other programs that are similar to this, and people can be cutting or cruel under the guise of being real with people. And I think what sets this program apart is the tribe and the willingness to encourage other people. And Julie, Emily, they made me want to have a battle buddy. I mean, I had a few along the way. Grant was one of them, and there were days that we talked to each other on the phone, but or the bromance between Randy and Joe. But I think that it just emphasizes that need to have community.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, Amanda.
Well said. Well said. And I couldn't agree more. Ken, let's give away some stuff, man. Spin the wheel and give me 2 numbers, please.
Jeff thinks that Ken needs a hug, by the way. Sorry. I had to bring that up.
Well, first Ken needs to take himself off mute, and then someone needs to give him a hug.
I had nothing to say. So the first one was 455.
455. Aaron Crates Sheary. Dig deep, play hard, Aaron. Great. Let's give her a shirt, a hat, or a sweatshirt. And Ken, make a note. Let's start developing some tank tops.
Yep, I got that down.
For those in SoCal.
And one more number, Kenny.
Next one is 525.
Okay. 525?
Yes.
Robert Buxton. Big Rob. Congrats. So reach out, you guys, to Ken Venera at ken@mission60.com and receive your free package. And with that, thanks for being here. Appreciate you, Emily. Appreciate you, Julie. Appreciate you, Noah. Appreciate the team. Let's throw that flashbang and get on with the day. See you guys.